Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, if you want to end the mental and emotional stress in your life, just simply turn the awareness back to yourself and just witness yourself. When you witness yourself, you are already disengaging the mind and you're watching the mind. And the whole spiritual journey, spiritual freedom is about disengaging from the mind and being anchoring in who you are as an observer. So, this is the simple approach to disengage with the mind. So, if you are going through inner struggle, which is the inner conflict, mental conflict, and fear, and your fear is troubling you big time, taking you to that chaotic ride within, and if you don't know how to end this inner struggle, then try sitting with yourself and just turn the awareness back to yourself and just witness yourself. The witnessing itself is creating a distance from the mind, and just sit with it. I know when life is challenging, just watching ourselves is not helpful. It doesn't seem helpful because there's actual trouble going on. Yes, we have to be part of we have to observe the struggle. We have to find the solution for the struggle, to end the struggle. Especially in the relative world, you cannot deny the issue. You have to face the issue to overcome the issue. But even to overcome the issue, the solution starts by witnessing oneself. We're not denying this issue. We want to work with the issue. We want to, solve the issue. But solving the issue comes first by watching oneself, so we can anchor ourselves in clarity. When you turn the awareness back to yourself, when you watch yourself, you are allowing your awareness to settle. That is needed. When you're settled, then you can go back and figure out how to find the flow, how to find the stability in life. But without anchoring yourself in awareness, yourself in clarity, without taking the seat of an observer, solving the problem is always going to be a shortcut. It's on the surface level. And because of that, there's already an ongoing struggle in life, which is physical struggle, mental struggle, emotional struggle. So if you're not able to end the struggle, especially when it comes to spirituality, is ending the inner struggle. So simply sit with yourself and turn the awareness back to yourself and just watch yourself and start creating a distance with the mind. When you start to create a distance with the mind, you must realize that you are not the mind. You are the background that is aware of the mind ups and downs. You will be aware that you are not the identification of the mind. Identification of the mind is just an extension on you. So you must recognize that you are the one who is aware of the mind. You are not the mind. Now, after witnessing yourself, and you have to just not narrate the mind. Narrating the mind is the way to keep the struggle prolong, especially when you are going through that stress in your life, when you are going through the negative aspect of the inner flow, and when you're narrating, most of the time you're narrating in the further negative way. Yeah, eventually you'll try to, figure out the positive aspect of the narration. But before you find the positive aspect, you are dwelling in the negative. Especially when there's so much fear in life. Tendency is to listen to the fear and narrate the story in a negative sense. So, especially when you are narrating in such a way, you have to remember to not to narrate. You got to stop narrating. Just taking the seat of an observer already helps you to settle. And remember not to narrate, because narrating is prolonging the mental game, especially when the ego is strong. The ego don't want to give up. And when the ego don't want to give up, that's where the further stress comes in. So, you got to turn the awareness back to yourself, and you witness yourself, and you stop narrating. And if you can stop narrating, it's okay. Then you got to ask yourself, why am I prolonging this drama in my head? The reason to narrate the story in your head comes from the deeper ingrained conditioning, ingrained belief. The belief and the fear is making you narrate. So, if you can't stop narrating, now what you can do here is you question yourself, why am I having a hard time to stop narrating? Or why am I narrating this story? If you ask yourself why, then you start to see the reason for your storytelling in your head. And whatever answer resurfaces in you, then use that answer. Why is that important? Again, in the outer world, to be part of the world, to be part of the people, to be in the world, yes, you have to organize yourself. To organize yourself, you have to pause, and you have to rearrange yourself, rearrange your mind, and then you put that mind into play. And that's how it works in the relative world. And we cannot deny that. That is a part of the game. But when it comes to true freedom from the mind, or when it comes to true spiritual freedom, then we have to look into the mind, and we have to investigate the mind, and we have to figure out the root cause of the issue, and also we need to eliminate the root altogether until nothing is left. And that's the process to figure out the plain sight truth, the true freedom. You have to become empty. You have to get rid of the mind. And how to do that is being aware of yourself, and then investigating the mind, by tracing the mind backward. And that's the simple process. So if you want to end the inner struggle, the mental struggle, emotional struggle, or fear in your life, you just have to witness yourself. Again, I tell you, witnessing yourself is already disengaging the mind. So give this approach a go, okay? Try it. If nothing is working to be free from the mind, especially, notice, when you are in trouble, right? When you are in trouble, the mind, your ego self, narrates the story in your head. And most of the time, you don't know how to get rid of that narration, because the story unfolds in a more limiting way, where the fear doesn't end, where the conflict doesn't end. So if you are in that place, I highly recommend you to apply this approach. Turn the awareness back to yourself and disengage with the mind, and work on your mind. Trace your mind backward to figure out the root and eliminate the root. And the most important part to be free from the mind, to not to get bothered by the mind, is the self-inquiry, tracing the mind backward. When you trace the mind backward, you become thorough of your mind. When you are thorough of your mind, you understand the nature of the mind, how the mind comes into existence, and how the mind becomes a reality, which is a false reality. And if you are thorough, and then there's a last inquiry you have to apply it, which is the asking yourself, who am I? And when you ask, who am I, then you catch yourself. That's where your ego gives up. That means your ego self gives up by recognizing the drama. When you recognize that the ego cannot comprehend the truth, and that's where you become free from your mind. So the simple approach to be free is turn the awareness back to yourself, trace your mind backward, and ask yourself, who am I? That's all you need to end your stress from your life. Okay? I hope this video makes sense to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Take care for now. Bye.